It's fascinating what happens when we look starkly at ourselves and honestly at our lives, when we're willing to let down all walls, when we're willing to release all attachment to our story, when we're willing to surrender completely, and indeed when we are willing to die to our separate selves. Only then can our ego soften and be lovingly integrated. And when this happens, your spirit can soar.
You're listening to Practical Spirituality with B, the podcast with spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic. I'm Bernadette Logue. You can call me B, and I'm excited to share this episode with you.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast episode of 2023. On the day that this will be released, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the 31st of December. I had last week off doing the podcast because I travelled over to Mexico to spend some time with my brother and his children, which was totally magical. I missed doing the podcast and being connected with you last weekend, but it was super magical to be with my nieces and nephews who I haven't seen for 5 years, and just to have some really awesome personal time and family time. So I've been thinking of you and wondering how the holiday season is going for you. I know not everyone celebrates the idea of Christmas, but whatever it is for you, this end of year season, whether it is a faith time, a family time, a holiday time, whatever it is for you, I hope you are well. I hope you're peaceful, and I hope this is a restorative time of year for you. And I've been reflecting a lot on what to share with you for the final podcast episode of the year to help you move into 2024 in a more liberated, free sense of self. And I'm not, this is not scripted, right? I'm just like off the cuff sharing with you. And I almost didn't make this particular topic. This topic came to me when I was meditating. And this topic really deeply speaks to my heart. So, for example, this is the kind of thing that I talk with my husband about all the time, what we're going to talk about today. This kind of conversation I'm about to share with you is the cold, hard truth kind of conversations that I have with my beloved sisters and siblings, with my really dear friends. And I thought to myself, should I have this conversation with you? Because unlike a personal growth, self-help, spirituality podcast, you know, you kind of want to keep it upbeat. You want to do something that's really motivating and inspiring. And sometimes people want to just have the little short nuggets that give them a zazz and, you know, jazz you up motivationally. And I most definitely do those kinds of episodes, right? I give you beautiful things that you can take away and do and lift your spirits and remind you who you are. But sometimes we need to also talk about the cold, hard truth of you, your mind, the life journey, what it is like being on the planet, and what is essential for you to remember and understand if you really want to be free. And so today's podcast is not for people that are looking for a little jazz motivational talk that's all light and rainbows and unicorns. Today's podcast is for people that want to hear the cold, hard truth so they can set themselves free. And if you've been through difficult times in your life, and if you've been through a dark night of the soul, and if you've done enough personal growth and true deep dive spirituality on your journey to kind of know who you really are as a person and as a human being, then you know the most powerful liberation comes from seeing the cold, hard truth about yourself, about life, about your relationships, about patterns. And sometimes the things that are most difficult in life are actually the most powerful. Sometimes the most difficult things to see about ourselves are the things that will truly set us free. sometimes the most difficult situations in our life become like the pressure under which diamonds are made, right? Sometimes the most challenging seasons of our lives are the things that completely transform our life, send us in a new trajectory. I'm not afraid of difficult things. I'm not afraid of hard conversations, and I'm not afraid of seeing the truth. And I also know this about you, that I love you, and I don't need to know you in person to know that I love you. I love you because you are soul and you are source, and I am soul and I am source. And so you are me and I am you. And I love you deeply within my heart. And that is why I show up, and I've shown up consistently for 12 years, every single week, to provide support to you and others on this journey. Because it matters, because I love you and I care about you. But the other reason I'm making this episode, this particular topic today, is because while we all need empowerment and uplifting and positive messages and light material, we also need people to tell us the truth, even if it's painful. And I've been lucky to have people in the physical dimension who care enough about me to tell me the truth, even when it's been painful. And I've also got, as you do, support in the unseen dimension, spirit side, who also have been kind enough to tell me the cold, hard truth, to help me see things differently, to help me behave differently, to help me drop the past and drop my small self in order to have any chance of living this life journey as a free spirit, which is the whole point, right? You're not here to live a small self life. You're here to evolve into the highest potential of what you came here for, your soul's plan and purpose. So this episode is made for you with deep love, because I know what you need from time to time is not somebody to treat you like you can't cope with hard messages. And you don't need someone to wrap you in cotton wool. And you don't need someone to sympathize with you. You need people that have empathy and love, and you need people to light the way, to help you find your own truth, to help you see yourself in the light. And sometimes that is the cold, hard light of truth, right? So that is the precursor to this session. Now, what I'm going to do today is, first of all, I'm going to tell you why this is an important topic. And I make these podcasts based on what has inspired me usually. So a lot of these things come out of my own life experience. I'm then going to read you a short excerpt from one of my books, which relates to this topic. I'm going to share with you some cold, hard life lessons that we all have to learn. And then I'm going to give you 11 questions to help you see the truth for yourself, whatever that might be, so that you can leave the past behind and make an adjustment in yourself and in your life trajectory. So 2024 can be magic, miracles, blessings, unicorns and rainbows, and all the things that you want coming out of a willingness from you to look at things differently. Because when you change the way that you look at things, the things you look at change, right? That's a quote. It's either Wayne Dyer or some other magical, beautiful teacher on the planet said that. I can't remember who. Might have been Louise Hay, but amazing quote, so deeply true. Your whole reality can pivot literally on the spot when you see things differently. A change in the way you are looking at something and seeing it in a way you've never seen it before changes everything. So the reason this is important is because, and the reason I'm making this episode for you is because those of you that have been with me over the last few years will know that a lot of times in the past year or so, I have spoken about, at a very high level, spoken about the fact that I've gone through a really transformative time personally and professionally in the last 15 months. 15, 16, 18 months. And that involved a dark night of the soul that was very painful. It involved seeing the cold, hard truth about things about myself and my past and my present that I had not seen before, that were quite shocking for my consciousness to have pivoted in a way where I could see it. And as a result, involved making a lot of new decisions and a lot of changes in my life in order to become ever more soul aligned. Because once you start to see the truth, the whole point is you start to evolve beyond your ego, beyond your conditioning, beyond your small self, and you get this opportunity for your spirit to soar, for your soul to be set free, and for you to align all the different aspects of your behavior and your choices in your life and your lifestyle and your relationships and your career, and everything can completely morph and evolve into alignment with your free spirit. But none of that can happen if you are living inside the loop of an illusion. So life will send us things to wake us up to see the truth. It can be books, it can be situations, it can be interactions, it can be challenges, it can be spiritual quests, it can be all sorts of things that come along on your journey to help knock on your door, to help, rattle your cage, to help you see things differently. And that happened quite a few times for me in the last 15, 18 months. And so I share this from that firsthand experience. Okay. I'm going to read you a section from one of my books first, and then we're going to go through some cold, hard lessons, some cold, hard, loving lessons for you to reflect on as we finish the year so you can walk into 2024 without blinders on. Okay? We don't want to fool ourselves. We don't want to hide from ourselves. We don't want to hide from the truth. Maybe this is an opportunity to say my new favourite catchphrase one more time before 2023 ends. The truth shall set you free. Okay? This is from Your Soul Journey Simplified, my latest book. I've got 4 books: Pinch Me, Going Out on a Limb, Unleash Your Life, and the latest book is Your Soul Journey Simplified, a method for aligning to your spiritual path. You can find purpose and fulfillment with this practical guide. Okay, this is in paperback on Amazon. It's also on Kindle, and you can also get the downloadable e-version book on my website at bernadettelogue.com. Bernadette Logue, Logue.com. So in Your Soul Journey Simplified, there is a whole section dedicated to the hurdles we face on our spiritual path, that if you are on a truly dedicated path to evolution and enlightenment, and you really want to live as your soul intended you to, like live your plan and purpose, you are going to face all of the hurdles that are outlined in the book. And this particular hurdle, number 10, is called Your Ego Blinds You with Smoke and Mirrors. And this hurdle that I'm about to read to you is based on personal experience. Okay, then we're going to go through things in more detail. Okay, so the truth that this hurdle reveals is this: while your soul wants you to know that everything is connected and you are one with everything, your ego, however, is completely invested in you being separate. It's important to see what the ego does to keep you separate and away from your soul power. Oh dear, this is the harshest, most painful, and shame-inducing lesson that I've personally learned on my spiritual journey. After many, many years of hard work to be spiritually aligned and to live my purpose, I had a profound spiritual experience in which I was shown clearly how my ego had completely blinded me with smoke and mirrors. In summary, my sweet ego had kept me walking around in a loop, convincing myself that I had done all the things I needed to do to live my soul, plan, and purpose fully, that everything else was outside of my control, and that I had no more answers about how to move forward in my life. This turned out to be obviously and glaringly untrue. My ego had made me defend, hide, stay safe, avoid stuff I didn't want to deal with, and refuse to take responsibility for the things in my life that felt too big. Simultaneously, my ego had convinced me that I was also 100% awesome and on track, which was absolutely hilarious and deeply painful for me to realize. Our egos do this to us because the ego's agenda is to remain separate. The ego likes to put up walls, to project outward, to remain in charge and in control, to individualize you, to protect, defend, attack, avoid, and separate. The ego is not a fan of us experiencing our connection to Source and feeling one with everything. If we are part of everything and we feel that and know that, then the ego feels its individuality is threatened. Its very existence as a separate being is at risk. It could be out of a job. It's fascinating what happens when we look starkly at ourselves and honestly at our lives, when we're willing to let down all our walls, to release all attachment to our stories, to surrender fully, and indeed to die to our separate small selves. Only then can our ego soften and be lovingly integrated. And only then can our soul, our spirit, truly soar. On reflection, the harsh realizations I was shown were always there in the shadows of my awareness. They were gentle whispering truths, pushed down and pushed away by my protective ego. It's not healthy or helpful at all to demonize the ego, because ego is part of our human design. We all have one, and for good reason. The ego is useful for some things. It gives you a sense of self and a sense of place in this world of illusionary separateness. It can be practically quite helpful sometimes, but only if it's integrated. We don't want to let it lead, but neither do we want to diminish it. It's about balance. And here is the soul opportunity. If you realize that your ego is blinding you with smoke and mirrors, this hurdle, when faced with courage and an open heart, will have you transcend your ego. It's possible for you to lovingly allow your ego, such that you're not in your ego, nor denying your ego, nor struggling with it, but letting it be and living from a higher consciousness. Any helpful spiritual path will lead you to certain practices: forgiveness, love, non-judgment, compassion, letting go, and practices like meditation for having a deep connection to your soul and source. These are the ways of being that carry you above and beyond separation by embodying all that is your soul and source. Now, before I read you the 11 questions to help you see your truth and leave the past behind, I'm going to share with you some off-the-cuff lessons from life that I've learned and that I know are relevant for everybody to some degree at different times in your life. And these are unpleasant. They're unpleasant to have to stomach, right? And, being human is unpleasant to stomach at times. So these are in no particular order and shared with much love. Okay, number one is you've got to drop your victim mindset. You are not a victim of anybody, anything, or any experience of your life. Full stop. No debates. It doesn't matter what happened to you. It doesn't matter what you did or didn't do, what someone else did or didn't do. It doesn't matter the childhood you were raised in, the goals and dreams that you have or haven't achieved, the things that have been perpetrated or persecuted against you. It doesn't matter what it is. There is no space in the emergence of your consciousness to a higher level. If you want to be free and you want to live your soul-aligned life, there is no room for victim mindset. And when we take a victim mindset at a subconscious level, we're looking for someone else to acknowledge us, to support us, to maybe save us. We can use it as a way out. We can use it as an excuse. We can use it as a protective mechanism. We can use it as a label to avoid responsibility. There are so many ways that our mind and our ego use it. But the way they're using it might be to protect us temporarily from pain But the downside is they protect us from the power of our soul at the very same time. And so what looks like at a surface level a smart strategy for self-protection ends up being a complete suffocation of your soul power. And so as you enter into 2024, my encouragement and my loving invitation to you is never, ever let your mind tell you that you are a victim of anyone or anything, because your mind might try to do it being off on a tangent, thinking that that's a good way to keep you safe, but it keeps you small. And your soul is not small. So we are dropping victim mindset pronto. Okay? I'm going to talk to you a little bit later at the end of the episode about ways that you can actually do these things, like practical, methodical, logistical. How the heck do I do that? Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. The next thing I want to share with you in this cold, hard truth session is that everything about your current life situation and where you stand right now is all the result of the past that has gone before. Everything about where you stand right now, what you have and haven't achieved, what you haven't done, what you haven't gotten, where you're at in your health, where you're at in your fitness, where you're at in your money, where you're at in your career, where you're at in your relationships, where you're at in your social setting, where you're at in your education, where you're at in your everything, is like a snowball that's been rolling down a hill and got you to where you are now, or a tumbleweed that's been moving and it has momentum. And I hated hearing this truth. I could not stomach this truth. It made me feel sick in my stomach. Because you look at your past and you look at your life and you can point to all the people and all the things that happened that were not inside your control, that impacted your life. And it is unpalatable to say, I accept that everything that has happened has gotten me to where I am now, and that I have a level of responsibility is the other painful thing about where I stand right now. So everything that is happening and everything that is in the present moment is as a result of everything that has come before. We can logically understand that, but the painful thing about it is taking any level of responsibility for all of it when you didn't have control over all of it, because there were other people involved and there were other things and there was timing and there was what seemed like things outside of your control and luck or lack of luck and all of these things. The way that I have reconciled this for myself is to understand that we cannot wrap our human minds around the idea that everything that's unfolding in our life and in our path at some level is within our responsibility and accountability from a unconscious, subconscious, conscious, spiritual, physical perspective, all of that stuff rolled into one. And I'd heard this before in some other teachings, that you are liberated when you can take full responsibility for everything about yourself and about your life, even when you didn't have control over everything and everyone in your life. And I get it, because if you don't take full responsibility that everything from your past got you to where you stand and everything in your past has to be in your responsibility and accountability, then where does it leave you? It leaves you completely powerless. It leaves you helpless, and it leaves you in point number 1, victim mindset. So my encouragement to you is simply this. Look at your life as it is right now and say, everything about my life right now is because of everything that has come before. Like 1 + 1 is 2. So everything before plus, everything from childhood plus everything from my teen years plus everything from my 20s plus everything from my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, however old you are, everything about my unconscious, everything about my subconscious, everything about my conscious, everything about my choices, my behavior, my actions, my mindset, my emotions, my energy, my soul journey, all the things about my soul that I don't understand or do understand, my soul's plan and purpose, my soul contract, all the divine timing, all the aspects of life that I do and don't control, other people, the whole lot of it, all of it combined together as one huge fabric that is so complex and so multifaceted and so multi-layered, all combined together to bring me, by chance, to be standing here on the planet on this day, at this time, in this body, at this age, facing the circumstances and situation that I am currently in. And because it makes me powerless and weak to say I am not responsible and can't control it, I'm not going to do that. So instead I'm going to say, I am fully responsible and accountable for everything about my life, including all the things that I know I couldn't control. I'm saying it and I'm choosing it because that gives me full power here and now. And the benefit of this is that here and now I realize I can write the direction of my life. I can change the direction of my ship. I can turn the wheel 1% to the left or 1% to the right. I can alter the trajectory, because if everything that comes before leads to now, then everything that's happening now leads to what's coming next. Your childhood does not dictate what's coming next. You now here dictate what's coming next, but only if you shift the trajectory of your beliefs, thoughts, feelings, your choices, behavior, and actions, and your relationship to life, your relationship to the past, your relationship to the present, and where you choose to take your life next. And so it's this wildly complex thing to wrap your mind around, is that where I stand now is the consequence of everything that's come before. The powerful thing about that is if I choose to take full accountability and responsibility, I can take my life in any direction based on who I choose to be now. It's like a portal opens up where you can liberate yourself from living in the shadows, living under other people's dictates, living under other people's conditioning, living in your own fears, living in your own smallness, any combination of those things. You can completely reorder it inside of yourself, step into a different level of consciousness and power, and as you do that right now, you're literally rewriting what's coming next. Because the energy and the projection and the direction must change, because they are a result of you interacting with life in this moment. The next cold hard truth, which I laugh after saying every time because I feel like I want to say the next loving cold hard truth, is that you need to hold a steady consciousness to have peace, power, and progress, because doing a mental and emotional yo-yo will give you a life that looks like it yo-yos. Okay, so you know when you have a yo-yo when you're a child and you play with it, it goes up and down. I quite often talk in my peace trainings about living within a peace, that if you don't choose your consciousness and you let your mind run astray and you don't manage your emotions, then you will do an emotional and mental yo-yo in reaction to life, which means other people in life go up and you go up. Other people in life go down and you go down. Things are going well and you go up. Things are not going well and you go down. That's an outside-in model of reality, where what's going on out there is dictating how you feel in here and what you think in here. The alternative is you choose a consciousness that works for you. You set your mind with loving leadership, regularly, repetitively, and consistently putting your mindset and emotional state into the direction that you want it to go, and you hold that consciousness consistently. So whatever life does is what life does. And here you are, steady and consistent in your consciousness. Other people do whatever other people are going to do, up, down, and all over the show. Your partner, your parents, your children, your friends, your boss, your workmates, your clients, society, the politicians, whatever's going on out there. And they do that, and you stay steady. Steady in your consciousness. And it doesn't happen by mistake. It happens through loving leadership of your mind, to learn that your mind, unless it is led with love and confidence and consistency, it'll just go all over the show, because that's what the human mind does. Same with emotions. The mind can do what it's going to do, and your emotions can have the full spectrum of emotions, but you know how to lovingly lead your mind to equilibrium, and you know how to lovingly process your emotions, so you always come back to a steady consciousness no matter what life is doing. And understanding that for you to have peace and personal power and progress requires you to hold your consciousness steady, that is the powerful truth. And when you realize that and you really own it, you see how valuable the investment into yourself is. It's everything. It's everything. People that are peaceful, people that have personal power, and people that are making progress in life, they have done something with their mindset and their emotional state to be able to put them in a position to do that. Okay? The next loving, cold, hard truth is this: you've got to take action. If you want your life to move forward in a direction that you want it to go, you have to take action. And subnote is the most important point. You have to take the right kind of action. I spent years taking action, willy-nilly taking action, that I thought if I just take this action, this is going to take me into my goals and my dreams, and it was the wrong kind of action. Life is not about working hard. It's not about how much you do. It's not about quantity. It's not about volume. It's not about if you get up every day and you just do a lot of stuff, things are going to go the way you want it to go. It is about smart, quality, intentional, right action. And that will be different for every person. But what it will be that is consistent is it will be aligned to your soul. It will be aligned to your intuition. It will feel right to you. And it will be action taking that you iterate and innovate and grow and evolve with as you move forward, right? What was the right kind of action for you 10 years ago is not the right kind of action for you today, because you have changed and life has changed. So this cold hard truth about like living a soul aligned life, living the life you want to live, is that you have to be in action. There is no living just from energy, just from mindset, just from prayer, just from hoping, just from setting your intention. You have to take action. Life is beckoning you to meet it in the field, to meet it in the vortex with your action. But not action that some random person out there is doing that made them successful. That's not necessarily going to be right for you. Not some action that some coach told you to take because they're running a formula on you and shoving you through the cattle chute of these are the XYZ things everyone should do to be successful. No, because you're different to everybody else. You're a unique being and you're at a unique point in your life right now. So what is the right kind of action is going to be unique for you. We can all learn from common success strategies. We can all learn from common formulas and models, absolutely. But when you just try to roll them out or follow other people or do what you read in a book without consideration for your unique journey and what is intuitively coming through you, then you're missing the point. You're denying the authority of your own spirit, your own inner knowing. Okay? So we want to take action, but we want to take the right kind of action. The next cold, hard truth is this: no one is coming to save you. And taking ownership of your life and everything in your life is absolutely essential. You have to look into all the nooks and crannies, the shadows that you don't want to look at. You have to look at all the things that aren't working in your life that you'd prefer not to look at, because no one else is going to do it for you. And actually, as painful as it can sometimes be to, for example, look at something in your body that's not working, look at something in your career that's not working, look into a relationship that's not working, look into your finances and areas where it's not working. As painful as that is, because it can bring up regret, resentment, shame, guilt, all sorts of feelings, it is absolutely the most liberating thing that you can do. Because once you look and you see what's really going on and you see what got you to where you are, you have the power to make a choice and make a change that will take it in a new direction. And footnote to that, the reason sometimes people don't want to look and don't want to say, well, no one's coming to save me, so I better look at it myself, and I have to take full ownership, is because if they see what isn't working and they see the magnitude of what's not working and they see they've got a choice to make and a change to make, it's confronting about what those choices and changes might be. Because sometimes we have to make alterations logistically in what we're doing, where we are, who we're with, in order to move forward. And those are painful sometimes to make. It can be scary. But it is not more painful than living in avoidance and living in the shadows, right? And this is about, on your spiritual path, it's about having the courage to see the truth so you can set yourself free, so you can leave the past behind, right? We can't just keep looking forward and dragging what's not working with us. And sometimes we haven't looked at what's not working enough to see what's going on. Like, you might say, well, I know what's not working. It's my health. It's my relationship. It's my career. Yeah, we know what it is, but why? Why is it not working? And that's the painful bit. It's not working because I did this, I didn't do that, I haven't taken responsibility for, this isn't right, and I haven't made a change to correct the situation yet. And when we realize those things, we're left with, I have to do something about it. And, you know, there can be a timing thing about that, but largely it's never pleasant to make big changes where something isn't working, right? So it's a little bit of, you got to rip off the Band-Aid. The next loving, cold, hard truth is that even in the worst times, you know, dark night of the soul, dissolution of some part of your life, something's not working, it's like life is taking things away from you or breaking things down and you can't do anything about it, it's outside of your control. Or maybe it is something inside of your control and it's just something not working. Just remember this. And it's not pleasant to hear. You know, sometimes you just want to slap someone if they told you this when you're in the middle of a difficult situation. But even in the worst of times, you want to remind yourself, this is clearly meant to be happening because it's happening. This is clearly meant to be happening because it's happening. It's already happening. And I could list off so many quotes about this. I mean, Eckhart Tolle's accept the present moment like you chose it. You know, I think Sue Morter, the beautiful, wonderful Dr. Sue Morter, says something like, nothing happens that shouldn't be happening. And it's just these collections of wisdom from different sources that have really helped me through many of the difficult times in my life. And I encourage you to do the same, is to look at those times when you're in them and say, I didn't choose this. I don't want this. I don't like this. This is painful, but this is happening. And I'm going to look at it like for some reason it's meant to be happening, and I don't know why. And this is not a human being perspective. This is not a putting a silver lining on the cloud with your mind. This is a soulful perspective. This is, there are soul contracts. Every person is on their own soul journey. People come and go from our lives. People come and go from the planet, all in order with their soul plan and purpose. You have a soul plan and purpose. Your seasons of your life must change because that is what your soul has come for. So when you are not meant to be somewhere and you have not made a choice to leave yet, sometimes life will dissolve it for you. Sometimes we came to learn certain lessons and life will give us challenges that will provoke an evolution inside of us. Not to give us suffering, to give us liberation. To ask us to stand up and to practice things about us that we have not done before, to be the soulful person that we have not been before, to make our contribution in a way we have not made it before, to call us forth to be bigger because we're capable of it when we have been playing small, and so on and so on and so on, and the list goes on. So in the darkest of times, the cold hard truth is, again, harking back to number one, you are not a victim. And if you can take a mindset of that there is something in this that is going to be the making of me, and have a deep trust in the unfolding of life, you'll be surprised when you look back in retrospect. And this is the merger of your psychology and your spiritual power and your alignment with your soul and source, all combining together to help you courageously walk this life journey. The next one I'm going to share with you is that seeing the truth about yourself, not talking about life, I'm talking about you, seeing the truth about yourself is essential. Essential. There is no full liberation and full potential of you in this lifetime without you seeing the absolute truth about yourself. That means being able to see the darkness in yourself, the shadows of yourself, the habits, the patterns, the things that are painful to see will set you free. And I know from first-hand experience that it is not pleasant to see these things about yourself. The immense amount of shame, guilt, regret, and resentment that I have let go of in the last year, the tears, the physical pain of understanding these things about my own ego and my own past, it's not pleasant, but the truth shall set you free. Because if you don't see it, subconsciously, at a deep level and at a spiritual level, it's there and you know it in your cells that it's there. You're carrying it and you're marinating in the self-denial and all of the shame, guilt, regret, and all the things, okay, about the past. So it's happening and it's paining you whether you realize it or not. The upside of seeing the truth and being willing to see yourself as an essential liberation step is that once you've seen it, you can free yourself and then you can be free forever. And it's part of your soul plan and purpose for you to evolve in this way. And it takes courage. It takes courage to say, hey, guess what? I'm not perfect. I'm a bit of a hot mess. Here are all the things that I've done that I regret. Here are all my mistakes. Here are the things that I've egoically been and done. And you don't have to say it to anyone else. It's about admitting it to yourself. And it's not even admitting it to yourself. It's not even that. It's excavating it and being willing to turn the light on. Because it's the second you put the light onto your shadows, what are they? They're illuminated, so they therefore can no longer be a shadow because they are literally illuminated. So they have become the light. So what was your menace and your enemy becomes your ally. Because the liberation that occurs in forgiveness, self-compassion, releasing the past, loving yourself despite all those things, is that just turns into immense soul power for you. It turns into what was pain turns into wisdom. What was pain turns into purpose. And you use it instead of it using you. So I think I'm going to leave it there. And I'm now going to read out 11 questions, which were at the end of this section that I read out to you earlier from the book about hurdles. Okay, so this comes from Your Soul Journey Simplified, my latest book. And have you got a pen and have you got paper? Because here we go. This is to help you see the truth for yourself about where you're at right now, so you can leave the past behind on 31 December 2023, today, so you can walk into 2024 having turned the light on. And remember, when you turn the light on, there are no more shadows. Okay, question number 1. What are you hiding from? What are you hiding from? 2, where in your life are you hiding? There's no right or wrong answer. Not going to give you examples because your intuition will answer. Question 2, where in your life are you hiding? 3, what are you not taking responsibility for? Past, present, any area of your life, outwardly, inwardly, what are you not taking full responsibility for? Bonus question, not one of the 11 questions, but bonus question just coming up for me is brackets. Where are you making other people responsible? Where it's not their responsibility, it's yours. End brackets. Question 4. Where in your life are you keeping yourself small? Where in your life are you keeping yourself small? Question 5. What walls do you have up and what walls do you need to bring down? Question number 6, I think. In what areas of your life do you need to step up? In what areas of your life do you need to step up? It's time to level up. Question number 7. Where are you conveniently projecting outward, which is actually distracting you from looking inward? Okay, I'll read it again. Where are you conveniently projecting outward, looking out at life, looking out at other people, pointing the finger, or just focusing all your attention outward into life, onto things, goals, but it's just distracting you from where you maybe right now need to be looking, which is inward with yourself. Okay, I've lost count of the questions. So next one is, are there areas of yourself or your life that you are not fully taking care of, leaving to chance, or pretending are not an issue? Ooh, that is sticky. It stings. It's juicy. It's all of it. I'll read it again. Are there areas of yourself or your life that you are not fully taking care of, leaving to chance, or pretending aren't an issue? Oh, goodness gracious, I can feel the pain of that from my past. So I have had to deal with that over the last 15 months and have cleaned it up. I can tell you, liberation is sweet as a juicy peach. You definitely want to answer that question. Okay, the next one is, what are the things you know to be true, things that are important for you to be or do, but you're not doing anything about it? What are the things you know to be true, things that are important for you to be or do, but you're not doing anything about it? Second to last question. In what ways are you stuck or in a loop where you've convinced yourself you've done everything you can to move forward? In what ways are you stuck or in a loop where you've convinced yourself you've done everything you can to move forward? And last question, which must be number 11. In what nooks, crannies, and crevices of yourself or your life are you unwilling to look? And look straight there, dare to look there. The truth will set you free. In what nooks, crannies, or crevices of yourself or your life have you been unwilling to look? So, my beautiful people, if you have listened to this episode, I just want to congratulate you for listening to a confronting episode. Because it is frickin' confronting to address these things, to look at them. And it is actually the perfect time. Because you didn't click on this episode for no reason. And you're not here with me on the planet for no reason. You could be anywhere on the planet, listening to anybody, engaging with any kind of material. And here you are listening to a confronting episode about seeing the truth and leaving the past behind on a day that is the end of a chapter in the storybook of your life. 31st of December 2023, a whole year has passed. It is the end of one chapter of the storybook of your life. You are turning the page to a new chapter called 2024. And this is where the juice is. Yes, set intentions. Yes, set soul aligned goals. Yes, all of the good stuff. And also be willing to see into the darkness, into the shadows. Shine a light. And when you do, it's no longer dark and it's no longer a shadow. So I'm going to leave you with 2 things before I sign off today. Number 1 is this. Save the date, 18th of January 2024. Coming up, I'm going to be running a free workshop, Live Your Soul Plan and Purpose, 3 steps to fully align with the life you are born to live. It starts on 18th of January 2024. It is 2 weeks only. It ends on 31st of January. It involves 3 in-depth coaching videos with downloadable action guides and a live event about how to step into your fully expressed soul self. It is completely free. To participate in it, you need to be on my email list because I'm going to be sending it out free to everybody on my email list. So all you need to do is if you don't get my emails already, then email me at support@bernadettelogue.com, support@bernadettelogue.com with the subject line free workshop. I will then get you added to the email list so that you get the free workshop. That is going to be super powerful. I've only run this particular workshop once before, and I will typically only run it once or twice a year. In this workshop, we are going to go through 3 steps. The first one is we're going to reconnect you to your soul and your soul plan and purpose. It is practical and methodical and detailed, like you're going to see your purpose, okay? Step 2, we're going to sort out your mind, showing you how to break free from inner limitations that hold you back from living your soul plan and purpose. And step 3, we're going to design your unique soul-aligned life, listening to the deepest calling of your soul and your heart. So you don't want to miss that. It's absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to run it for you. Save the date, January 18th. The second thing is, if you want to work with me to address all of this stuff and you want personalized, customized, bespoke coaching, email me support@bernadettelogue.com and put in the subject line freedom. I will email you back with details for a January coaching package. I've got a couple of spots left. That is for personalized one-on-one coaching with me for a whole month. I'll send you all the details, the availability, what to expect, pricing, and how to get enrolled. Okay, my lovelies, that's it for today. It's been a pleasure to be here with you and have this holy, sacred, beautiful, confronting, honest conversation about being a human being on the planet. Looking at the things that are difficult, shining a light so you can be free, and I can't wait to see you next episode for Practical Spirituality with B, where we will be in a whole brand new year, a whole new chapter of your journey. I'll see you again.
Thanks for listening to Practical Spirituality with B. I'll talk to you next episode for more spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic.